Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mihir Shah once again with another video. In this video we are going to do one last final revision of all the practical problem sum based on the subject risk management. Again a very important video for all the TYBMS Sem V student. So in this video we are going to take up what are the various types of sum that you need to cover up under risk management subject. So let us start one by one. Type 1, the sums are based on fair premium. So let us see what are the various types of sum that can appear under fair premium. Okay, now this is the format that you need to note down somewhere. Okay, this is the format in which we will be solving each and every sum based on fair premium. So let us see what are the various steps and what is the procedure in order to solve this particular sum. Okay, so I've written here that this is the sum based on fair premium. So the steps are: number 1, under first step you need to first find, remember, in order to find fair premium you need to find three things: PV of expected claim, PV of expected administrative cost, and PV of expected fair profit. Remember, fair premium is PV of expected claim plus PV of expected admin cost plus PV of expected fair profit. So three steps are required in this. So let us start with the first one. In order to find the expected or PV of expected claim, we need to first find pure premium, or it is also known as the expected claim. The formula is very simple. It is equal to the sum meaning the addition of the loss value into the probability. So they will give you in the question all the loss values and the probability, multiply them, add up all, and that will become your pure premium. Step number 2 is we need to find the PV of expected claim, which is equal to pure premium, that is the answer that you get it from step number 1a, divided by 1 plus the rate of interest. So suppose, for example, if the rate of interest is 8%, it will become 1 plus 0.08, so it will become 1.08. Okay, so with that you will get the first value, PV of expected claim. Second step, we have four sub parts are there. First we need to note down the underwriting cost, which is nothing but the percentage of pure premium. Okay, so they will always give you a certain percentage in the question, which will be taken on the pure premium that we have already found. Second is the expected claim processing cost, which will be given in the question. Third, expected administrative cost is nothing but the underwriting cost plus the expected claim processing cost. So that is the A plus B ka total. And finally, PV of expected administrative cost is equal to expected administrative cost, that is from step number C, divided by 1 plus interest. Again, whatever will be 1 plus interest here, same thing comes here. That will be the second value that you will find, PV of expected admin cost. Okay, third, we need to find the PV of expected fair profit. So that is, first we need to find the expected fair profit, which is nothing, again it will be a percentage given in the question, and we have to take over pure premium. Once we have got that, we can find the PV of expected fair profit, which is nothing but the expected fair profit divided by 1 plus the interest. Once we have all the three values, fair premium is equal to the first answer plus the second plus the third, and that will be a final value. Okay, chalo, I'll give you a couple of seconds so you all can take a screenshot of this. Okay, and you can just note down the entire steps. Okay, now based on these steps, we are going to solve the following sums. Okay, I hope everyone have understood what steps are there. Okay, chalo, let us see what sums are there and how we need to solve them. Okay, now this is the very first question. Okay, I'll read out the question once. Now in the question it is given that the expected losses are given in the table below. So loss values are 2,10,000 and 0, and their probability is given. Find the fair premium if the policy provides full coverage, underwriting cost is equal to 10% of pure premium, claim are paid at the end of the year, interest rate is 10%, expected claim processing cost is 600, and the fair profit is equal to 5% of pure premium. Okay, now whatever steps I shown out before and on a separate sheet. Okay, so I've noted down all those steps here, and now we'll see how. So in exact way, so step 1 has 2, step 2 has 4 parts, step 3 has 2 parts, and then the final answer is the addition of all the 3 answers that we get from step 1, step 2 and step 3. Okay, now I won't be noting down the formulas here because the formulas are already shown in the first the first part. So I'll be directly solving this sum based on the same steps that we had discussed earlier. Okay, chalo. let us see how to solve this particular sum. Step number 1 we need to find pure premium, which is nothing but the sum of all the losses into the probability. So the first loss given in the question is 2 lakhs into the probability, which is 0.02. So I'm writing here, it will be 2 lakhs into 0.02 plus, next is 10,000 into 0.08. Okay, so and the third one is 0 into 0.9, so we don't need to show that because the value will be 0 itself. Okay, so now 2 lakhs into 0.02, so I'll just show that. So it will be 2 lakh into 0.02, which comes to 4,000, and 10,000 into 0.08, which comes to 800. Okay, again it will be 2 lakhs into 0.02, which comes to 4,000. Sorry, it was 4,000, and 10,000 into 0.08, so 800. So total will become 4,800. So our first value came as 4,800. Next, now we need to find the PV or expected claim. The formula is very simple. Whatever pure premium or expected cost that we found, divided by the interest rate. Now interest rate given in the question is 10%. So 1 plus 10% is nothing but 0.1. So 1 plus 0.1 is 1.1. So 4,800. So we again take it, 4,800 divided by 1.1. Okay, it comes to 4,336.63. So we note down the same value, 4,363.63. Okay, this is our first value that we found, the first PV. Now second, underwriting cost. Now underwriting cost, clearly the formula was, it is always a percentage on the pure premium. Now they are given you underwriting cost is 10% of pure premium in the question. So if you can look carefully, so 10% of 10% of 4,800, which comes to 480. Okay, expected claim processing cost. Now they have already given you in the question point number E pay, expected claim processing cost is rupees 600. So I'm noting it down as 600. Okay, now expected administrative cost is nothing but the underwriting cost plus the expected claim processing cost. So that will be 480 plus 600. Okay, which comes to 1,080. And PV of expected cost is whatever expected admin you have got, 1080 divided by 1 plus interest. So that becomes 1080 divided by 1.1. So 1080 divided by 1.1, so which comes to 981.81. I'm noting it down here, 981.81. This is our second value that we required. Now third, we need to find the expected fair profit. In the question it is given that the fair profit is going to be 5% of pure premium. So again same logic, 5% of 4,800, okay, which comes to 240 rupees or 240. And PV of expected, this will be the same, 240 divided by 1 plus the interest, so that will become 1.1. So again 240 divided by 1.1, 240 divided by 1.1, it comes to 218.18. So we note down 218.18, that's the third value. So our fair premium formula is PV of expected claim, which was 4,363.63 plus PV of expected admin cost 981.81 plus 218.18, that is the PV of expected fair profit. We add up all those three values, so 4,363.63 plus 981.81 plus 218.18, the total comes to 5,563.62. So that's our final answer. Fair premium for this particular problem sum was 5,563.62 rupees. So my final answer, you can write it here. Thus the fair value of the premium is rupees. So we'll note down the last statement. Thus the fair value of premium is rupees 5563.62. Okay, this is how you all had to solve. So see, the sum is very simple. You have to just follow those particular steps which I had mentioned, and you all can solve each and every sum based on fair premium. So I hope everyone understood this first sum. Okay, so I'll give you a time to you all where you can take a screenshot or you can note it down, and now we'll start with the next. Okay, now this is the next question. I'll just read out the question now, the second sum that we're going to do. It is said that the expected losses are given in the table. So they have 1,20,000 and 0 ka losses, and their probabilities are given. Again, find the fair premium. If the policy provides full coverage, underwriting cost is 12% of pure premium. The claim are paid at the end of the year. Interest is 5%. Expected claim processing cost is 1,500, and the fair profit is equal to 3% of pure premium. Okay, again we will solve this as per our format. First we need to find the pure premium or the expected cost, which is nothing but the total of all the losses into the probability. So we start. First loss is 1 lakh into the probability 0.02 plus the second loss, which is 20,000, into 0.08. So 1 lakh into 0.02 is 2,000 plus 20,000 into 0.08 is 1,600. So 2,000 plus 1,600 is equal to 3,600. So PV of expected claim will be 3,600 divided by 1 plus interest. Now interest given in the question is 5%. If you can look carefully at adjustment number D, interest is 5%, so it will become 1 plus 0.5, so 1.05. So when you divide 3,600 divided by 3,600 divided by 1.05, we get the answer as 3,428.57. So we'll note down 3,428.57. That's the first value. Now same way, underwriting cost is a percentage on pure premium. In the question they're given you, it's going to be 12% of pure premium, which is 3,600. So on the calc, 3,600 into 12% comes to 432. So I'm noting it down, 432. Expected claim processing cost given in the question as 1,500. So your expected admin cost will be 432 plus 1,500. Okay, which comes to 1932. So expected PV will be 1932 divided by 1.05. Again back on calc. So 1932 divided by 1.05, we get the value as 1,842. 1,842.85. So we take that value. Oh wait, I guess I had taken a wrong number, so I'll just take it again. 1,932 divided by 1.05, so it comes to 1840. So 1840, that's the second PV that we required. Now similarly, we need the third one. For that, we need to first find expected fair profit. Again, a percentage. In the question it is given adjustment number, the last one, fair profit is 3% of pure premium. So 3% of 3,600. So on the calc again, 3,600 into 3% comes to 108. So we note it down as 108, and then again the PV of 108. So 108 divided by 1.05 on the calc. 108 divided by 1.05 gives you 102.85. So we'll take that, 102.85. That's it. We have got all the three values. This is our third value. Once we get there, we just add up all the PVs. So 4,328.57 plus 1840 plus 102.85. When we add up, our final answer will be, we take it on the calci, 3428.57 plus 1840 plus 102.85. When you add up, we get 5371.42. Okay, and then you can write, thus the fair premium value is 5371.42 rupees. Okay, so this was the second sum. I hope everyone have understood it. Okay, how to solve it. Same procedure, same format based. Okay. So I'll give you all a minute to soak this entire sum. Okay, and then we will start with the next sum. Okay, now let us read the next question. It's given that the expected losses are given in the table. Loss values are 50,000, 10,000 and 0, and the probabilities are 0.3, 0.6 and 0.1. Find the fair premium if the policy coverage is full and underwriting is 12% of your premium. Claims are paid at the end. Interest rate is 8%. The expected claim cost is 900 and the fair profit is 10% of pure premium. Okay, let us see how to solve this again in the same order. We are not going to change any steps, exactly in the same step. Okay, chalo, let us start. First we need to find the sum of all the losses, okay, along with their probability. So 50,000 into 0.30 plus 10,000 into 0.60. Now 50,000, so let us start with the multiplication part. So it will be 50,000 into 0.3, that comes to 15,000, and 10,000 into 0.6, which comes to 6,000. So 15 plus 6 is 21,000. So our pure premium for the entire sum is 21,000. So we need to find the PV of expected claim. So that will be 21,000 divided by 1 plus the interest. Now interest is given at 8%, so it will become 0.8. So on the calculator, 21,000 divided by 1.08, the value that we should get is 19,444.44. So 19,444.44, our first value. Now second, we need to note down the underwriting cost. Now underwriting cost, they said 12% of fair premium, so 12% into 21,000. So 12% of 21,000, again on the calculator, 12,000 into 12%, which comes to it's 21,000. So 21,000 into 12%, which comes to 2,520. So 2520. Expected claim processing cost, now given in the question under adjustment number E is 900, so we note down this as 900. So expected admin is 2520 plus 900, okay, which comes up to 3420. Now 3420, we need to find the PV factor or PV cost of that. 2420 into 1.08. So on the calculator, 2420 divided by 1.08, it comes to 3,166.666. So we'll take a 67. So 3,166.67. Okay, that's our second PV. Third, we need to find the fair profit percentage given in the question is 10%. So 10% of 21,000, that comes to 2,100, and the PV of expected will become 2,100 divided by 1.08. Okay, so again on the calculator, 2,100 divided by 1.08, we get the answer as 1,944.44. 1,944.44. Last fair premium, so the first value was 19,444.44 plus 3,166.67 plus 1,944.44. When we add up, okay, on the calculator, so we'll take that 1,944.44 plus 3,166.67 plus 1,944.44. The value that we should get is Okay, the first value was actually 19,000. So 19,444.44 plus 31.66.67 plus 1944.44. The value that we should get is 24,555.55. So that will be a final answer, 24,555.55. Okay, so this is how we had to solve the third sum. Okay, so you all can go through it once. Now we're going to start with the fourth one, the very important, because now that question has little new changes. The losses are little different. Okay, so let us see how to solve sum number 4. Okay, let us read the fourth, then the last question. Suppose an insurer estimates that an insurance contract exposure has the following loss distribution. They have loss of 20 lakh, 8 lakhs, 2 lakhs and 50,000, and at various probabilities they have provided. Assume that the administrative expenses which are paid immediately equals to 20% of expected claim cost. Further, assume that this type of policy requires a profit loading equals to 11% of the expected claim cost. Calculate the fair premium. Now remember, if they haven't provided you with any interest, okay, if they haven't provided you with any interest, we have to take a default interest rate which is 8%. Okay, so if they haven't provided you any interest, now if you can see, I've given there in the entire question they haven't given you any interest rate. So when such kind of problem sums are given where interest rate is not given, we have to take a default rate which comes to 8%. Okay. Chalo. Now let us see how we go about exactly in the same manner how we were solving the previous sum. Okay. First we need to find the pure premium. Okay. So a lot of values are there. So we'll have to take the summation of all. So first one is 20 lakhs into 0.003 plus 8 lakhs into 0.010 plus 2 lakhs into 0.050 plus 50,000 into 0.847. So now here 4 values are given. Okay, so we'll have to, so there was no 0 in this, so we have to find value for each and every one. So 0.003 into 20 lakhs plus 0.010 into 8 lakhs plus 2 lakhs into 0.05 plus 50,000 into 0.847. Okay, on the calculator when you solve the values, okay, the answer that you should get is 66,350. Now we need to find the the PV of that. So 66,350. Now there was no interest rate, so we'll take it as default 0.8. So 66,350 divided by 1.08, the value comes as 61435.18. 5 to 1819 we will take it here. So 61435.19, our first value. Okay, now underwriting cost. Now in the question they haven't provided you any underwriting cost. Okay, neither they have given you the admin cost directly, but they have given you an adjustment stating that assume that administrative expense which are paid immediately equals to 20% of the expected claim cost. Expected claim is nothing but the pure premium, and that is supposed to be 20%. Okay, so our expected claim was 66,350. Of that we have to take 20%, so which comes to 13,270. So there was no underwriting cost here, and this they have already given, it's going to be 20%. There was no processing cost also. Directly they had given you expected administrative cost, which is going to be 20% of pure premium. Okay, so we calculated, we got the value as 13,270. Now this we need to get the PV factor of it, so into divide by 1.08, which comes up to 13270 divided by 1.08, which comes to 12,287.037. So we'll take it as 4. So this came as 12,287.04. That's our second value. Third, expected fair profit. It is said in the last key, loading equals to 11% of the expected, the profit loading is equal to 11% of the expected claim cost. So we'll have to take 11%. Okay, expected claim is nothing but pure, so of 66350. On the calculator, when calculated, we got the value as 7298.50. Once we get that, we can get the PV. So 7298.5 divided by 1.08, we get the value as 7298.5 divided by 1.08, it comes to 6757.87. So we take that 6757.87. Now we note down the premium, so we get the premium as 61435.19 plus 12287.04 plus 6757.87. On our calci, when we add up all those three values, the final answer that we should get is 80,480.10 in rupees. So therefore, our fair premium value of premium is equal to rupees 80,480.10. Okay, so this is how you all had to solve various sums based on fair premium under the subject risk management. Now the second type of sum is based on expected return and standard deviation. So now let us see how to solve sum based on expected return and standard deviation. Okay, the very first type of sum is based on risk and return analysis, and under that we are going to solve sum based on calculation of expected return and standard deviation. Now for finding expected return and standard deviation, there are two types of sum. Number one, when probability is not given, and one where it is given. So we are going to solve first sum based on when probability is not given. The formula for expected return is R bar is equal to sigma R upon N, and standard deviation का formula is the root of sigma R minus R bar the whole square upon N. Now based on the two formula, let us see how to solve the sum. Okay, so the question given here is Mr. J gives detail of his portfolio. There are multiple years and they are giving you returns of A limited and B limited, and they are asking you to calculate the expected return and standard deviation. So let us start finding the expected return and standard deviation for A limited. Okay, now the columns will be years. So under years we will note down 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005, 2005, 2006, 2006, 2007, and last will be 2007 to 2008. Now under returns, let us just note down whatever returns have been given to us. So it's 6%, 48%, negative 15%, 7% and 11%. The total of that will be required. So when you add up and when you subtract the negative 15, you get the total as 57. So now very first thing what we need to find is expected return. Expected return is nothing but R bar, which is sigma R upon N, where R ka value is, the total of R was 57. Number of, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we have 5. When you divide, we get a value as 11.40%. So our expected return is 11.40%. Okay. So we finish with the expected. Now in order to find standard deviation, our next column is R, that resembles all your returns, minus R bar, that is the expected return. So it will be 6 minus 11.4, 48 minus 11.4, negative 15 minus 11.4, 7 minus 11.4 and 11 minus 11.4. So the difference, so we'll get the difference. So 6 minus 11.4 is negative 5.4, following it with 36.6. Negative 50, negative 11 will give you negative 26.4. 7 minus 11 is negative 4.4. and 11 minus 11.4 is negative 0.4. Now the last column, you need to find the square of the value that you have found in r minus r bar. So the square of these numbers will be 29.16, 1339.56, 696.96, 19.36 and 0.16, the total of which will be approximately 2085.20. So we have got the value. Now let us see how to get their standard deviation. So standard deviation ka formula was, it is the root of sigma r minus r bar the whole square upon n, which would come to, the root of 2085.20 upon 5. So you divide, and then when you press the square root sign, we'll get a final answer as 20.42. So we finished with the first part of A. So we got the expected return of 11.4% and the standard deviation of 20.42. So this was of part A. Now similarly we'll have to do for B limited. So years mein again we have 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005, 2005, 2006, 2006, 2007 and 2007, 2008. Under returns we'll note down as 12, 40, negative 6, 23, and the total of which will come approx to, so we add up the values. So we have 12 plus 40 plus 20 plus 3 minus 6, so which comes to 69. So we need to find the r bar, that is expected return, that is nothing but the total of r divided by n. So in our case it will be 69 divided by 5, which comes to 13.8. Okay, this is how we found the value of expected return. Now let us find the value of standard deviation. So we need to find now r minus r bar for the standard deviation. So r, we have all the values of return and we have to subtract that with your r bar. So 12 minus 13.8 will give you negative 1.8. Next it will be 26.2. Next negative 19.8. Next 6.2 and 10.8. Next we need to square them in order to get r minus r bar the whole square. So it will be 3.24, 686.44, 392.04, 38.44 and 116.64. Once you get that, we total it up. So after you get that, we total it up and we'll get the value as 1236.80. Lastly, we need to find the value of standard deviation. So standard deviation is nothing but the square root of total of r minus r bar the whole square upon n. So it will be nothing but the square root of 1236.80 upon 5. The value of which, after dividing and pressing the square root, you should get the answer as 15.73%. Yeah. So with this, we were able to solve sum based on expected return and standard deviation when probability was not given. This was the very first type. Now we'll be solving sum in which we will be having the probability. So let us see how to solve sum based on expected return and standard deviation when the probability is given. Okay, now the second method for finding the expected return and standard deviation is that when probability is given. Two formulas: expected return is equal to r cube is equal to sigma p into r, and standard deviation is the root of summation p into r minus r bar the whole square. Now the question given here is, the rate of return of A limited and B limited are given below. There is probability which is given, 3 conditions are given and 2 companies are given. We need to find the expected return and the standard deviation. So let us see now how to solve this particular sum. First we are going to solve for A limited, so we'll note down this as A limited. Particulars mein we have been given 3 conditions. One is the boom period, the other one is normal period, and last one is the recession period. Now the probability which is given here is 0.3, 0.4 and 0.3. The returns of A limited are 40, 60 and 80. Now we need to find P into R, so we'll multiply probability into return and we get the values as 12, 24 and 24, and we need to get the total of P into R, which comes to 60. So here our first formula, that is expected return R bar, is equal to summation of P into R, which comes to 60%. So that's our first answer. Now let us see how to find the value of standard deviation. So next column is R minus R bar. Now R minus R bar will be all the values of R, subtract with R bar. So the difference we will get it as negative 20, 0 and positive 20. The square of that will go into our next column. So negative 20 the whole square is 400, 0 400, and lastly whatever value we have got in R minus R bar the whole square, we multiply that with the probability. So we get the value as 120, 0 and 120, and we need the total of the last column, which is 240. So now finally we need to apply into the formula of standard deviation, which is nothing but the summation of P into R minus R bar the whole square, so which comes up to, that will be the root of 240, which comes to 15.49%. This is how we had to solve for A limited. Now similarly we'll go for the next one, that is B limited. Now again particulars may we have 3 conditions. So we have the boom condition, we have the normal condition, and we have the recession. Now the probability given here are again 0.3, 0.4 and 0.3. The returns are 90, 60 and 40. So we will add up that. So we get the answer as, okay, returns actually we don't need to add up. We will multiply first and then we will add up. So 0.3 into 90 will be 27, 24 and 12, and now we will add up this total. So P into R ka total comes to 63. So our value, the expected return, is sigma P into R, which comes to 63%. Next is R minus R bar. So all the values of R minus is 63. We get the values as 27, negative 3, and we will get this as negative 23. The square of that, so we have 729, 9 and 529. Whatever value we have got in R minus R bar the whole square, we multiply that with the probability. So we get the values as 218.7, 3.6 and 158.7, and we will total it. So the total will come approximately 381. Once I get the total, lastly we will put that into standard deviation ka formula, that is summation of P into R minus R bar the whole square. So that is the square root of 381, which comes approximately up to 19.52%. So with that we were able to solve sum based on expected return and standard deviation when probability was given. So with this we have completed the first topic under risk and return analysis based on expected return and standard deviation under 2 methods. One when probability is not given, the other when probability is given. Type number 3 is sums based on beta. So let us see now how to solve sum based on beta. Okay, now let us see how to calculate beta and covariance under the chapter risk and return analysis. Now before solving, let us see the formulas of calculating beta and covariance. Now beta का formula is covariance upon standard deviation square m, where covariance RS into RM, that RS stands for return on security, RM stands for return on market portfolio. Now always remember, whenever you're calculating beta and covariance, you are going to compare the security return with the market return. Covariance का formula is sigma RS minus R bar S into RM minus R bar M upon n minus 1, and standard deviation square m का formula is summation of RM into RM bar the whole square upon n minus 1. Now looking at the formula, it looks a little complicated, but while actually solving it, it is very simple. Okay, so let us see now how to solve the sum. Number 1, from the following data, calculate beta and covariance. They are given you the number of years and they are giving you return on security. We'll consider this as RS, and return on market portfolio, which will be known as your RM. Now based on this, let us see how to solve the sum. So our table will be in such a way that we'll have years, we have return of security, return on market security or market portfolio. Then according to whatever we require, for covariance I need RS minus R bar S, RM minus R bar M, and then the summation, the multiplication of both. So the 3 column will be based on covariance, and for getting standard deviation square m, that is RM minus R bar M the whole square. Okay, that will be our last column. Now let us see how we fill up the values. So years we will note down, we have 5 years, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now under return on security, we will write 35, 38, 34, 40 and 43. Now once you have written of the values of return on security, see that you all added up, because I need R bar. R bar is nothing but the average. So 35 plus 38 plus 34 plus 40 plus 43, the total will come up to 190. Similarly, we'll even note down the market return or the market portfolio return: 22, 26, 24, 28 and 30. Once we note down all the values, total it up, the total will come approximately 130. Now once we have noted the total of return of security and market, the next step will be, we need to find R bar S, that is the average of return of security. That will be nothing but summation of RS upon number of years, which comes to 190 upon 5, which comes to 38. Similarly, we'll also need to find R bar M, that is nothing but the average of RM ka total upon N, that is nothing but 130 divided by 5, which will come to 26. Okay, that's the very first step that needs to be noted. Now once we have got the values of the averages of return of security in market, we can go to the next column. Our next column is RS, that is return of security. So each return we'd have to subtract that by the average return. So 35 minus 38 will be negative 3, 38 minus 38 is 0, 34 minus 38 is negative 4, then we have 40 minus 38, that is 2, and 33 minus 38, that 43 minus 38, that is 5. Similarly for market, 22 minus 26, that's negative 4, 26 is 0, 24 is negative 2, then we have positive 2, and lastly we have positive 4. The next step is we need to find the product of the first, second, fourth and fifth column. So that will become negative 3 into negative 4 is 12, 0, positive 8, 2 2s are 4 and 5 4s are 20. Once you get the second last column got values, see that you all total it up. So 12 plus 8 20 plus 4 24 plus 20 is 44. And now the last column, that is nothing but RM minus RM bar the whole square. So the square of the fifth column. So negative 4 का square is 16, 0 is 0, negative 2 is 4, positive 2 is also 4, and 4 4s are 16. Once you get all the values, see that you will total it up. So 16 plus 4, 20, and another 20, so our total will come to 40. With this, our entire table has been completely done. Now we just have to apply into the formula. Now in order to get beta, first I need to find the covariance, because the numerator stands for covariance. So first we will find the covariance. So covariance ka formula we'll first note down. Covariance is nothing but RS into RM, the formula for which is summation of RS minus R bar S into Rm minus R bar M upon N minus 1. Now Rs minus R bar S into Rm minus R bar M, the total is 44 upon N, that is 5 minus 1. So that was nothing but 44 divided by 4. So our covariance is nothing but 11. Okay, so that's the first thing that we have found. Now second, we need to find the standard deviation square m. That's the denominator part for getting the value of beta. So that will be sigma Rm minus R bar M the whole square upon N minus 1. Now Rm minus R bar M the whole square ka summation is nothing but 40, the total, and bottom again it will be 5 minus 1, so it will be 40 divided by 4, which comes to 10. Okay, so we got the numerator value, we have got the denominator value. Now we can use the final formula. Beta is equal to the covariance. Covariance, when you're finding a covariance between market and the security, upon standard deviation square m. So that is nothing but 11 divided by 10. So we have 11, we have 10. When you divide it, we get the answer of beta, that is 1.1. So this is how you all had to solve the sum under the chapter risk and return analysis. Again, a very important topic for all the TYBMS students. Okay, the formula for beta and covariance and standard deviation square m is given. You just have to apply into the table, make the table, and just apply the values and get your final answer. Next type of sum is type number 4, is based on Jensen alpha, being the last type of sum in risk management. So let us see how to solve it. Okay, now this is the second type of sum where they are asking us to find the alpha when they are giving you a little different kind of a data. Okay, now in this sum they have given us dividend distributed, capital appreciation, opening NAV, and beta. They are asking us to ascertain the alpha of the three schemes. So we have ABC. Government bond carries some percentage. Now remember, any security by the government or RBI is always your risk-free return, and they are giving you Nifty, that is your market return has been given, risk-free return has been given, the beta has been given, and they are asking us to find the alpha using, so alpha ke liye we'll have to basically use Jensen's formula. Two parts are there to solve it. Step number 1, you need to calculate the expected return under CAPM, and secondly you need to find the Jensen's alpha. Now we will first start with finding the expected return under CAPM for all the three schemes. Okay, so if we'll start with first A Limited, I mean for the shares of A. So expected return for A, the risk-free return given in the question is the government bond, that is 6.84 plus beta. Now beta for A is 1.46 into market return, that is your Nifty, minus the risk-free return, that is 6.84. So now we will first subtract, multiply, and then add it to 6.84. So the answer will come approximately 14.56%. Similarly for B, so this is for A. For B, again risk-free return will be 6.84 the beta is 1.10, and the difference between the market and your risk-free return, market is 12.13, that is your nifty, your risk-free return is 6.84. again we need to do the same thing. We need to first subtract, multiply with the beta and add it to your risk-free return, and you will get the value approximate around 12.66%. Similarly for company C or scheme C, 6.84 plus the beta is 1.40, market return was 12.13 minus 6.84. again you subtract, multiply, add, and your expected return should be approximately 14.25%. simple. Okay, just need to note down the formula, substitute the value, and you will get your expected return. Now let us go to the second part where we need Jensen's alpha. The formula is actual return minus expected return. Now if you look at the question, they have given you dividend, capital appreciation, opening NAV, beta, but they haven't given you actual return. Expected return, we have already found that, but we haven't been given actual return. So now we'll have to first find the actual return. So this is the second type of sum when actual return is not given to us. So now let us see how we solve and get that value of actual return. Now remember, actual return का formula is total return upon opening NAV. Okay, actual return का formula is total return upon opening NAV. Opening NAV is given to us and total return directly isn't given, so we need to first find that. Okay, we'll have to first find that. So now let us see how to get that value. Now, so what I'll write here, actual return of A, B and C. Okay, I'll just leave a little space so that we can solve it and get those values. Now I need to find the total return. Okay, now total return का formula, now for company or for scheme A, total return का formula, you can keep it simple, it's like dividend which has been given plus the capital which has been appreciated. Okay, so that will be basically a total return. So I'll note it here, it's nothing but dividend which has been distributed plus the capital which has been appreciated. So for A it was 1.75 plus 2.97, that is dividend plus capital appreciation. You add up and so I'll write here appreciation. Okay, so which comes to approximately 1.75 2.97, that will come to rupees 4.72. Similarly for B it would have been, now dividend is not available, so it will be 0 plus 3.53, so the value is the same, 3.53. For C it would be 1.30 plus 1.99, which comes to rupees 3.29. Okay, and opening NAVs are given to us directly, so that's not an issue. So for A, now let us see the actual return. So total return, that is 4.72 divided by opening NAV, that was 32, and we'll just add up here, that's into 100. Okay, so it will be into 100, so the value will come to 14.75%. same way for B, it will be 3.53 divided by the opening NAV is 27.15, so 27.15 into 100, return will come to around 13%. And for C it was 3.29 divided by 23.50 into 100, which will come to around 14%. Okay, so we have now found the actual return for all the three schemes. So now we can use it and get our final alpha ka value. So A ka alpha is actual return, that was 14.75, minus expected return, that is 14.56. The difference is alpha, so the value is 0.19%. Same way for B, the actual was 13% minus the expected, that is 12.66, so the difference come to 0.34%. Same way for C, the actual was 14% minus 14.25, difference is 0.25% ka. So with this, we have found the alpha of all the three. So looking at it, the one which is the highest is the most preferred, investment, following with the other two. Okay, so the most preferred one will be your portfolio B, or your investment or your security B, depending on whatever they have given you in the question. So B is the best option. It has outperformed the other two. So this is how you have to solve the sum based on finding alpha when they give you, they give you all the values except the actual return, and it is not for multiple years. The first type of sum had multiple years. This is without multiple years, but there's different, scripts which are given to you, or different security that have been given to you. Okay, so these were the 4 types of sums that you need to practice for your examination. With this, we complete the entire revision on the practical problem sum based on risk management. So with that, we'll be ending this video here. Thank you.